Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. And as you know, we always have on extraordinary women. And this week we have on an incredible lady. She is the founder of Enygma Ventures. Let's welcome to the show, Sarah Dusek. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hello, Catherine. I'm really well. Thanks for having me.
Great. And you just shared with me that you're coming to us from Cape Town today.
Yes, hence I am all wrapped up and wearing my warm Barbie suit. It's very cold in Cape Town this evening.
I love it. You have on your Barbie robe. I've got my Barbie
Yeah.
background. We are Barbied out today. How about that? $1 billion film. I love it.
Oh, I loved it too. It was amazing. It's amazing.
And thanks to donors like you, we are rolling out our film, right, called Show Her the Money. Super excited that we're writing that out on the coattails of, Barbie coming out and being this amazing women's empowerment film that's breaking all box office records. And we hope people will come out and see Show Her the Money documentary, because as you and I both know, it's about how do we empower women with funding. And I have a nonprofit called She Angels Foundation. So I was so fascinated with something that I read about you, and that was, and I feel the exact same way of what you said. And that was, you were working in nonprofit for many years, and nonprofit is very essential and very important. We both agree on that. But the way to really affect change is business, to invest in businesses,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Because I realized that business is the vehicle that is designed to set up solve problems, right? Nonprofits generally, their DNA is not about solving a problem. Their DNA is usually about trying to support something, save something, help a scenario. But getting to the root of a problem is really in the DNA of a business and why any business exists. So that's what's amazing. I think the power of being able to do good, the power of being able to drive change, and it be sustainable because you've got to generate some profit to stay alive, is why business is such an amazing vehicle for building our world and building our future.
Absolutely. And, I was listening to a TED Talk yesterday that I think you would like. Let's see, I have her name written down here. Marsha Datwood. And it's called Do Good While Doing Well. And it's exactly what you preach. And so hers is about, you can create change by investing in other women.
Yeah,
and of course, this is the premise of our film, Show Her the Money. So we're just also aligned on the fact that the power is in getting behind entrepreneurs. You are an entrepreneur yourself. I don't want to forget to mention that you sold your company for $100 million. Very impressive, under canvas. I want you to tell people a little bit about that. And I'm gathering that your experience with that is what led you to get into venture capital. Am I right?
That is exactly right. Yeah. So as a female founder myself, and I sold my company 5 years ago now, my journey raising capital and trying to put cash in my business was like pulling teeth. It was really, really, really hard. And I made an inner vow to myself through that pain that if I ever managed to build, and this was before I'd raised really any capital, if we ever managed to ever sell this company, if it ever became really valuable, that we would invest in other women trying to grow and scale and build a big business. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 5 years now.
And I love that. This is the premise of our film, is that it's about, once you become successful, then utilize that financial power to empower other women. And you are just the epitome of that. And I love that. I mean, you are a pay it forward woman, and this is what we need more in our society. It is the way the old boys club works. I always say that, really, we need an old girls club, but nobody wants to belong to that. So I'm changing it to a
the young girls
old girls club. How about
old
that?
girls club, even better. That's even
Right,
better. The
right,
girls club, exactly. And I think that's really the heart of the mission. Is like we've not had our own club, and it's just no one's going to hand this to us on a platter and say, there you go, have the keys to the kingdom. It's like, well, we got to build the kingdom ourselves, and so if we don't do it, you know, the Barbie movie is a really excellent sort of reminder of this fact. It just helps showcase the fact that we have to be the builders of our world. We have to be active in building our world. So if we don't get up and do something about that, then no one's going to just hand it to us. So
right.
we have to take ownership of that, and we
And I
have to
feel like you
talk
had that.
loudly about it.
I love that you had that mission in your head. I feel like that's how you manifested it. Like you're like saying, when I build this company up and I sell it, I'm going to use that for the greater good. I love that vision. It's probably why it happened for you. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, maybe I think making money is fun, but making money for a reason is so much more fun.
yeah,
with,
absolutely. And
with the sense of I can contribute and I can do something that feels meaningful and important, and I can potentially affect the world that my children live in and their children live in because that's really the premise of money is power, whether we like to believe that or not. Unfortunately, it is. And so where money is going, where it's flowing, is where the power is going. And so is it going to people of color? Is it going to women? Is it going to those who are generally overlooked? And the answer today is no, it's not. It's not where it's going. And so what are we going to do about that to build a more equal world? And what are we going to do about building a world for the future that needs to have everyone at the table? Because if everyone's not at the table, then the world we're going to build is going to continue to look more and more unequal, more and more unsustainable, and more unviable. And that isn't going to work.
absolutely. So, we're taking this film on a 50-city tour around the country to get women that have great success out to learn about venture capital, right? I think the problem with women being shut out of venture capital is they've never had an opportunity to understand what it is. And
Yes.
so I can see that once you learned about that, you use the power of it to help empower other women and make great investments, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And make more money.
it's a
That's the idea.
win-win. Yes, that's what people have to say. It's not a donation, it's not a charity. You are investing in other women's businesses to make money and to help them make money. That is the whole premise of venture capital. Now, I see that your company was bought by a venture capital firm, right?
Oh, yeah, we were bought by a private equity company.
Private equity firm. So was it at that point that you realized the power of that when you got purchased?
No, I think I probably realized before that. I probably realized whilst I was trying to raise capital in the first place. And, like many women will say, when you go out and raise capital, you were going to hear a lot of no's. You're going to have a lot of doors closed in your face.
And everybody that you were asking, was it men? Was there any women at the decision-making
I
table?
I met, she wasn't a decision maker, but I met one analyst slash associate on an all male team, out of all the folks that we met in the venture space when we were trying to raise capital. So
Is that the one that got behind you?
no, that wasn't. So we turned down. I mean, I must have spent 2 years trying to raise our first sort of major seed round, and I therefore had bootstrapped my company for a long time. So we grew our revenue to about $7 or $8 million before we took any institutional capital. I had a little bit of bank debt and a little bit of friends and family debt, but that was it. and the rest was credit cards and a lot of stress. There's a lot of gray hair under this.
So it was called Under Canvas because I imagine some people are going to want to know what your company was that you sold.
Yeah.
Tell us a minute about that.
Yeah, Under Canvas is an amazing company. It's a glamping company, the largest glamping company of its kind in the US. And so we have gorgeous tented hotel outside of several national parks in the US. I think we're now at 12 locations around the US. And they're extraordinary. So if you can imagine the sort of African safari experience, that's what going to stay at Under Canvas is like. You get a beautiful tent, flushing toilets, hot showers, amazing linens in your room, but all whilst experiencing the great outdoors.
That's very cool. And so even after you sold it, you're still involved in it.
I'm still a shareholder at Under Canvas, and I only recently stepped down from the board last year.
Awesome. Well, that's an amazing story, but I just love the fact that what you did after that sale. And that's what it's all about. We have to go on this grassroots campaign around the country, reaching women like yourself who are super successful businesswomen. They're either still running their company or they've sold their company, and they are looking to think, what could I do to make the planet a better place and still make money with my money? And I think that's like the perfect combination of getting involved in venture capital. There are more female founded funds than ever before in history. Yours is one of them, Enygma. How does one get involved with Enygma, and what do you invest in?
Yeah, so we're a little left field in that we're investing in women-led businesses in Africa. So when I looked at the venture capital space and thought, oh, how could I make my money go the furthest? How could I potentially do the most good with my capital? We decided that we would invest in Africa. So we invest in women. So I know everyone is already thinking, they're imagining an African woman with a baby on her back, and maybe she's got a thing on her head that she's carrying up. Those are not the women we are investing in. We are investing in sophisticated, educated, amazing women who are building incredible, scalable, huge businesses. I've already got one company that we invested in. It's already doing more EBITDA, so already has more net profit than the company I sold 5 years ago. So she's going great guns. But
what kind of company is that? Like, what's the product?
She has a fintech company. So she's building a neobank. She's building a neobank for the unbanked. So her clients are maybe those women that I was just describing, traders, people of lower socioeconomic income, and she's creating a bank and providing financial services for them, and tackling a problem of reaching a group of people that do not have access to capital, do not have access to financial services, and creating financial services and products for them to meet them where they're at and serve their needs, and build a business out of it. So
and this is exactly what you're saying. It creates generational wealth when you invest in other women. Here you are investing
in other women, exactly, and creating this ripple effect.
Yes.
And she's mostly supporting women in business. So she's got lots of little traders, lots of women with small businesses, providing capital for them, and helping them grow and scale their businesses. So the ripple effect of what women can do is really, really extraordinary. And so that's why one of the reasons we decided to invest in Africa was I think last year there was about $5 billion of venture capital invested in the whole continent. And there's over a billion people on the African continent. And in the US, the same number was $234 billion invested in.
Right, of which women get about 4 billion.
Women got 2% off.
Yes, pathetic.
Yes. And so, we were just thinking, well, there's a lack of capital down here. And could I use my own gifts and skills of having been on this journey to support other women go on the same journey, create access to them for capital in the United States, build a bridge between here and the US and foreign donors, and potentially help them build and scale extraordinary businesses that have the power to really, really change their nations from the ground up. So that's what we're doing.
You know, I mentioned this in my TED Talk. It's called Fund Women Save the World. It literally is that. It literally is Fund Women Save the World. I mean,
Yes,
this is what's going to save the world. We can't
it is.
have all those innovations and brain power laying on the side of the road, not being invested in. They have so many great ideas that we should be getting behind. And anyone getting in on this, it's going to be a very lucrative road because look at all the brain power and innovations that aren't getting funded that you could get in on, you know,
Exactly.
and especially
And
like,
that's what's really exciting about being in Africa at this moment, because we're
yes,
really early in the grand scheme of, you know, digitizing Africa and creating services and providing our, you know, we could leapfrog Africa in the next 25 years from where she is today to where she could be if
right.
we invest in women, and women particularly in Africa, but worldwide, you know, are 4 times more likely to pay their debt back. They are 4 times more likely to build profitable businesses, generate better IRR on every dollar invested. And so it's really a no-brainer, you know. And if you care about doing good and you care about, you know, wanting to have some kind of impact on the world and make money at the same time, it's a really, really extraordinary opportunity.
It absolutely is. Can people contact you to invest in Enygma? How do they reach you? Do you have a website?
Yeah, you can absolutely reach out to us on Enygma Ventures, and Enigma is spelled with a Y, so ENYGMA, Enygma Ventures. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Sarah H. Dusek on LinkedIn.
And how did they, why did you name it Enigma? Just curious.
I loved, I mean, I've often thought that women are a mystery. People think women are a mystery. And so the idea of Enigma was this whole fund, and the venture capital thing is often a mystery to women. I had no idea when I was building my company, that venture capital even existed. I had no concept. It just wasn't the world I had moved in, and I was trying to build a reasonably, you know, big business, and I just didn't understand the capital markets. And so I think that's true for a lot of women. I don't think I was alone in that. And so we just loved the idea of a bit of a play on words with, let's invest in women. Women are enigma. This is a bit of a mystery, but let's figure it out together, and let's put you at the center of it with the Y in the middle.
I love that. You know, it's true. And it's why we made the film, Show Her the Money, which has a website, showherthemoneymovie.com, because we want women to know where the screenings are going to be. Because you'll walk out of this movie understanding what venture capital is and why you would want to be a part of it, either as an investor or as a woman looking for funding, and how to make that all happen, and how to connect with female founded funds, which this is all new to women. Most women I know in this space have only been in it for a few years. They say the exact same thing you say, or that I say, is that we had no idea this even existed. We didn't even know what it was. And so you're not alone if you don't know what it is, but you can find out. And that's why we made the movie. We're taking it on the grassroots tour to engage women into how do they learn about it? How do they engage in it? How do they become part of the solution, so that instead of us getting just 2%, we one day run that up to the 50% that we should be getting. Yeah.
Just need 50% of it. That's all we'd like. Just
And
our share.
I say if I can get us to the 5% in the next couple of years, I'd be happy. So, you know,
5% would be a massive needle mover. That statistic of 2% has not changed in about 25 years. So it's
I know.
very old.
But you know what has changed in the last couple of years, besides that we now have this movie, the first of its kind, to explain it. But also we have more female founded funds than ever before. I really applaud these women like yourself that are starting their own funds. It's not easy because you have to find investors to invest in it, but it will become easier as more and more women understand what it is and realize, oh, I've been locked out of this really great investment that men have been making billions of dollars on. And, I try to explain to people by the time a stock gets to the public market, it's already
Oh,
run its
it's
immense
$1 billion
profits.
company by the time it's done, it's got there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And not to say you shouldn't invest in there because everybody should be very diversified, but at least a percentage should be put into venture capital where the odds of making more money than in the regular public markets and all is an opportunity that should be open to anybody who qualifies for it. And there are plenty of women that qualify and they don't even know it. Right.
I think what's the accredited investor rule is you have to make $250,000 annually or have a net worth of $1 million. Is that
Yeah, I
the
think it's just 200 or 300 combined with your spouse,
spouse?
or have $1 million in assets. And,
Yeah.
there certainly are a huge number of people that fit into that category. And for those that don't, there are opportunities to invest anywhere from $50 to $1,500 in other various types of investment that you put into women's businesses, everything from crowdfunding to other types of pre-angel opportunities. So, it is taking some time to investigate it, but there really is an entry level for everyone to invest in other women businesses. Yeah.
Agreed. I know. And it's having the knowledge, it's having the understanding, and realizing that you can and why you should, and having some control of our own destiny. I think for a long time, women have relied on men to make financial decisions for them. And now's the time for us to sort of make our own decisions and take control of our own wealth and our own investment strategy, and get clued up with what you can do and why you should and where you could, and follow your heart. I mean, I think that's the other amazing thing about women is we tend to care about things. And so when you realize that you care about something, follow that lead. It's like your little inner compass, isn't it? Telling you this is the direction you should go in.
Absolutely. And that making money and giving back to make the world a better place is not exclusive of each other. They can be combined. And that's the beauty. And you are the epitome of that, Sarah. And so thank you for that messaging today. If you all want to reach out, look for Enygma Ventures, Enygma with a Y, and look up Sarah Dusek on LinkedIn. Connect with her if you'd like to learn more. I know she's inspiring you as much as she inspires me. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Catherine Gray, and our SheAngelInvestors.com site. We appreciate you turning into the Invest in Her podcast, which you can also find on Instagram. We are all over social media, and just would love to hear from you. And be sure to visit our new movie site, showherthemoneymovie.com, because we'll be coming to a town near you so that you can learn more about venture capital and join this party with me and Sarah. Make it a great week, everybody. Thank you so much, Sarah Dusek. Really appreciate you and all that you're doing.
My pleasure. Thanks, Catherine.